Well, hello and welcome. This is day 26, pattern 26, and today we're going to do a mitered granny square, and I chose to do blues because I just think these blues are gorgeous. And yep, we're going to go ahead and get started. So I am going to, and you can do your colors in any order you want. I'm going to start with my lightest blue and a magic circle. Okay, chain 3 and do 2 double crochets. The beginning of this is the same as any regular granny square where you have 4 clusters of 3. And this one will have a chain 3 in between each of the clusters of 3. So I think most of us are familiar with this part. So I will meet you back when I get my 4 clusters done and I am ready for round 2. Okay, so I've made it around to the other side. I have my chain 3 and I want to slip stitch into the top of my beginning chain 3. And we're ready for round 2. So in round 2 we are going to chain up 3. And then we're going to jump over to this corner over here and do a cluster of 3. That's 1, 2, and 3. And since this is a corner space, we chain 3 and put 3 more double crochets in that same space. And then we move over to the next space and do another 3 double crochets. And this is a corner, so we chain 3. And do 3 more double crochets. And then we jump over to the next corner. On this pattern, the only chaining that goes on during a round is in the corners. It's a chain 3, other than when you are moving up to a row and you have to chain 3 to bring yourself up to the proper level. If that made any sense. Like, we chained 3 here, but that's because we're moving up on the next row. But we are not doing any chains in between our clusters. Other than in the corner, it's a chain 3. So we're at our last corner, and I'm doing 3 double crochets, a chain 3, and then 2 double crochets because we already have our first one here with our starting chain. So we're going to take and slip stitch to the third one. 1, 2, 3. And we are done with our first color. So we fasten that off. Now you can work your colors in as you go, or you can do them all at the end, and I'm going to wait to the end just for the sake of time. So you should have a little mini square with 2 rounds, like this. And we're going to move to our next color. And we're going to start in a corner. Rather than doing a chain, we're going to do a standing double, which looks so much nicer than a chain up. So you're going to put a slip knot on your hook. You wrap your yarn around once, hang on to it with your thumb, go into your corner, pull your yarn through, go through 2 loops, and then through 2. And you just made a standing double crochet. So we need 2 more doubles in this corner. Then we're going to move over to the next space and do 3 double crochets. We're moving over to the next space, which happens to be a corner, so we do 3 double crochets. Chain 3 and 3 double crochets in the same corner space. Move over to the next space and do 3 double crochets. Move over to the next corner and do 3 double crochets. And stop, because that's all we want to do. We only want to work on 2 of the sides to make this into the miter granny. So to get to the next row, you're going to chain 3 and turn your work. And then you're going to move over to this space over here and do 3 double crochets. Move over to the next space and do 3 double crochets. And then we're over to our corner, so we're going to do 3 doubles, a chain 3, and 3 doubles. Move over to the next space and do 3 double crochets. And the next space and do 3 double crochets. And stop. So we're at the end. We don't want to go any further, but we need something over here. So we're going to have to do 1 single double crochet in the very last stitch there. And we just finished color number 2. So we're going to fasten off. And again, you can work in your ends if you want to now, or you can wait till the end. Okay, so now you should look like this. And your front side, if you get confused with the flipping that's going to go on, your front side will always have your first color in the bottom right corner. Or if you're left-handed, the bottom left corner. So if you're left-handed, it would be like that. If you're right-handed, it's like this. All right, so now we're moving on to our next color of blue. And we're going to start again with a standing double crochet. And because we ended this round with a space, we start off with a 3 double crochet cluster. So we just work right into the space. We do 3 double crochets. And then move on to the next space and do 3 double crochets. The nice thing about turning your work for the rows is it will keep your work nice and straight. You won't have, your little squares won't be floating around looking all kaleidoscopy in the middle of your work. Okay, when we get to the corner, it's a 3 cluster, a chain 3, and another 3 cluster. 1, 2 and 3, and we're going to do clusters all the way across in any space that's left for us. And look, our last spot is a space, so we do our 3 double crochets there. We just pretend like it was a corner, but we only do half. And we chain 3, but we don't use it to turn the corner, we use it to raise up to the next row. So we turn our work and come back to the space and do a cluster. And just move along, a cluster of 3 in each open space. Then we get to the corner. It's a cluster of 3. Chain 3. And 3 more, just like any other corner. And just moving on down the row. Okay, and this row didn't end with a space, so we just have to put a single crochet, or oh my goodness, we just have to put a double crochet in the very last stitch there, which was our first stitch of that row. And then we fasten off because we've already done 2 rows of that color blue. And again, you can work in your ends or come back to them later. We have lots of ends. Granny squares are notorious for ends. Okay, flip it back around, right side. Okay, my light blue is in the bottom right-hand corner. And I'm going to my final color. Now you can keep going and make these as big as you want. I find they look a lot cuter when they're smaller, in my opinion. When they start getting too big, it kind of like loses its appeal to me. Okay, so we're going to start off with a standing double. And we're going to do 3 double crochets in this space. And we're going to work 3 double crochets into each of these spaces till we get to the corner. Once you get to the corner, you're going to do your 3 double crochets, chain 3, and do another 3 double crochets in that same space. And put your cluster of 3 in each of the spaces until you get to the end of the row, and I will catch back up with you. Once you reach this corner, you're going to do your 3 double crochets. You're going to chain 3, and you're going to round that corner just like you would with a regular granny square. And then work your clusters of 3 in each of the spaces. And when you get to the corner, you'll round that corner and run up that side till you get to the blue that you're working with. So I'll meet you when I get around to the other end of this round. Okay, when you make it to the other end, you're going to do your 3 double crochets into the corner space, chain 3, and slip stitch to your first stitch there. And fasten off. Now you got to work in all your ends. But I'm just going to pull this one over and work with this one and talk about it. I know that's not fair. So, yeah, these are real quick and easy, and they're cute. And like I said, if you start to get too big, I think they start to lose that effectiveness of being cute. It kind of like, these just start to fade away when you start to get big. But these are, again, are another one that, well, I got to bring the strings out. Depending on how you line them up, it can create an interesting pattern when you attach them all together. You know, there's all different ways, but because they are patterned, you have to pay attention to how you sew them together. So, I appreciate you guys watching, but I'd appreciate it even more if you clicked on the link right over here and it took you to the next great tutorial that you would find on my channel. And we'll see you in the next video.